Hi, my name is Carlos Junior Escudero Castillo, and today I will be talking about the transport layer security. This is the outline of my presentation, a short introduction, some TLS concepts, history, HTTP over TLS architecture, handshake, applications, finally a conclusion and a practical case, as well as references. Introduction. So nowadays, the web is widely spread all over the world in different areas, ranging from business, government, individuals. So internet and the web have become part of our daily life because we do perform on a regular basis several tasks, such as online payments. We visit our online courses, we send emails, etc. But the internet and web are vulnerable. So there is a variety of threats, like, for example, integrity, that has to do with the fact that our data can be altered or modified by someone else, or confidentiality, that someone can read my data, or, for example, over here, my calls, denial of service, that has to do with the availability of data, and authentication, that has to do with the fact of verification that a server is the server that is meant to be. And therefore some security mechanisms are required to guarantee that that the data is being transmitted securely. And then we have TLS protocol, which is the transport layer security, and it is a security protocol that aims privacy, data security for communication over the internet, normally between a web browser and a web server. So TLS adds a security layer on top of TCP, and adds also other features like authentication, among others, to improve the security of our data. And is the successor to SSL, Secure Sockets Layer. So TLS and SSL are used interchangeably. We will see this in the next slide. So TLS protocol uses symmetric and asymmetric encryption, asymmetric encryption, which is also known as a public key encryption. So basically, a user gets the public's website's public key that comes from a website's TLS certificate, and initiates a session with this information. About the history, so Netscape originally developed SSL with the first version, which was 2.0, and then at some point it came the version TLS 1.1. And nowadays we have that the current version is TLS 1.3, but the only versions that are still being supported, used, are TLS 1.2 and 1.3. The other ones are already deprecated. Which are the cryptographic concepts on which TLS is based? So TLS is based on confidentiality, that our data cannot be read by someone else, or that someone can miss over here my calls, for example, or integrity, that has to do with the fact that the data should not be altered or modified by someone else. And authentications allow the user to verify the identity of a server by checking the TLS certificates. HTTP over SSL. So HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is a protocol that enables the exchange of hypermedia documents over the internet, such as HTML documents. And before the existence of SSL, as we see in the picture, the information that was exchanged between my browser and the web server was not encrypted, so everyone in the middle could read this information because it was sent in plain text. And then with the appearance of SSL, then the information was encrypted, so no one in the middle can sniff or check this information. So basically, the process is that a user makes a request to a web server. This web server sends a certificate and a public key, and our web browser checks the validity of this web server. Not checks if the certificate is still valid, if the certificate was not revoked, among others. When everything is okay, then our web browser creates a session key that is sent to the server in order to start exchanging data, which is encrypted. And this is the TLS architecture. So as I said before, TLS operates over the TCP IP protocol, so adds some security features, and so other protocols in the application layer like HTTP, FTP became secure with the appearance of TLS. So HTTP create a new extension called HTTPS, FTP to FTPS, and so on. So in the TLS protocol, we have a handshake layer and a record layer. So before the TLS handshake, there's a TCP handshake. So TCP in the first step, we want to guarantee that TCP runs over a reliable TCP. And when this handshake is completed, then our client in the next step sends some specifications about the TLS version that the browser is using, some cipher suites to the server. The server responds with a certificate, and then the client checks again this information, then creates, if everything is okay, creates a session key that is sent to the server, so they can start exchanging information securely or encrypted. And then when this handshake is completed, they can start exchanging other kinds of information. So TLS application is a general proposed protocol that can be used for authentication and protection. For example, secure transactions over e-commerce sites, customer authentication to secure websites, remote access to databases, SQL, email. So SSL or TLS is able to work transparently with all protocols that work over TCP, such as FTP, SMTP, etc. So conclusions: if there are several risks for a company if they don't implement TLS, such as, for example, data interception, data tampering, deletion of data, public exposure of sensitive data, affecting confidentiality. And cyber criminals could use sniffer software, which could easily capture information in transit, as we are going to see now with a Wireshark, which is a network protocol analyzer that checks and analyzes all the packages that are being exchanged in my local network. So I will open this. This program. So basically, I will go to an HTTP site, and I will write like a random name in like a random password. And then when I try this information will be here cached. So if I go to HTTP, and then when I go to post, and then when I go to follow TCP, I have to wait some seconds. So I can see, for example, that this is the name of my user and this is the password. So this happens when our web pages are not securely protected. So I hope you like my presentation. Here are some link reference, and if someone wants my presentation, please let me know so I can send you per email. Thank you very much and have a nice day.